tell us now what can they do for a living? I mean, what are the benefits? What are the pros if they were, instead of going the traditional route into a restaurant? Tell us some of the positives or negatives as well that they would have as a personal or private chef.
Right. The biggest positive when people reach out to me is they're sick of having a 10 or 12-hour day where they never get to decide their schedule or see their family, or they have young kids, they can't date. And that was also with me too. So deciding your own schedule and like designing your life, I know that's a fancy word, but is so important to so many people. And that's the first thing that people love about this. The second is you get to create your own food and what you're good at, and then match it to the client. Also, not putting your food through a window or to an expediter is very different than going around to the client's table and setting it down and seeing their face. Mm-hmm. Or having their kids come home after school and you're waiting there and they're the happiest to see you. Like, that is cool. I like the income possibilities are much, much higher than a traditional restaurant if you, what I call do it right, set it up right. What else? The downside is in the beginning, there's a lot of ups and downs. Like 1 week you could have 0 clients, the next week you could have 5. And the stability of learning how to market and set up a business so you don't have those ups and downs is going to be your problem for the first 1 to 3 years. Most people will quit after the first year if they can't figure that out, which is why I always say get training first, because cooking has nothing to do with running a business. You're doing 2 different things. And people think if they're a good cook that this is going to work. And I'm like, no, you have to learn how to run a business and get in front of people. People can't take the ups and downs. Health insurance, 401k, that's something you have to figure out on your own. And people are scared of that. So people with families don't want to take the risk. I started when I was single, so I just would buy health insurance because you could. And it worked out fine. What else? I love it because you could take your skill with you and travel somewhere else. Like I lived in Israel for a while and cooked there. And even though they didn't know, they weren't so obsessed with what a personal chef was, they didn't really understand it, it was still valuable. And I could still make money wherever I was. So I like that.
So it's more custom, and it gave you that work-life balance, and you got to customize your own food, you get to be more creative. Right. But at the same time, you don't have that steady income. You're not an employee, say, of some company. So you have to be in it for the long haul and expect those kind of ups and downs, at least at the beginning, like any business. Yeah,
but most people don't get that. They're like, your risk tolerance is very, very small, and you think like, I made no money in 2 weeks and I can't do this anymore. But you could not make money for a whole month, and then you could make, $5,000 in a month. So you have to learn also how to budget and balance. It's definitely a skill to learn.
And I've talked to people before that are in this kind of segment of the industry, and they say that culinary school background is so valuable because worst case, when they do have those valleys, if they're really long, they can go and use that skill to do something else. Maybe go back in and work part-time or help out a caterer or do something along those lines to bring in some
Definitely.